So what is good teaching?
Let's look at our first section, which is about, and see if we can generate some ideas.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how have you been? I hope you all always in good condition. I am Winda Sulistiowati. I'm student of TBI A at English Education Department. I am super excited to have you here. Excited about the discussion what we get today. And that's exactly what this is all about. Discussion. Not teaching, it's studying. That's why I need you to stay present. This is me, as a student, coming here to speak to your hearts. Before we even dive into the topic, let us look at these pictures. Every semester, some parents will see a low score on their children's tests, and it will bring them stress. Not only the parents, but their children would also feel stressed for not being able to improve their score. That's why it's needed to developing a new approach in teaching students, so that they will be more likely to get the good grades. Teacher charge school leaders is to radically increase student achievement. The good news is that how we reach the goal is simple. If we are going to increase student performance, we must diligently focus our schools on the one critical factor that the greatest impact on student achievement: classroom instruction. In fact, decades of research clearly shows that what happens between teachers and students in our nation's classroom has the greatest impact on how well the students learn. At the end of the day, the element that must charge in order to consistently increase student achievement is instruction. Our goal will not be met if we provide average instruction in some classrooms and even good instruction in others. We must provide great instruction. Fortunately, there are 3 simple steps that we can take as school leaders to radically impact student achievement. The first step is build a common understanding of great instruction. If great instruction is the answer, then what are the components of great instruction? If you ask that question of every teacher in your school, how many answers would you get? If you got a different answer for every person, isn't that an extremely different way to move towards the great instruction? What would happen if you ask the same question of every leader in your building? Will the principal, assistant principals, department chairs, lead teachers, and instructional coach all have the same answer? Unfortunately, our teachers often have different interpretation of effective instruction because our teachers are providing mixed messages. Truth be told, great instruction includes specific elements. Great instruction is guided by the curriculum, rigorous with research-based strategies, engaging and exciting, assess continuously to guide instruction, and tailor tough, flexible groups. to radically improve student achievement, then we must acknowledge the grid instruction has non-negotiable elements that must be seen in every classroom. We must develop a common consensus of each element of grid instruction across our leaders initially, so that we can send clear and consistent message to our teachers. And the second step, change teacher practices. The knowledge of grid instruction, unfortunately, is only the first step toward increasing student achievement. Our teacher must actually provide grid instruction. It may sound like the responsibility for increasing student achievement rests solely on the shoulder of our teachers. They certainly play a big part, but the greatest responsibility lies with school leaders. The central office staff, school principal, assistant principal, instructional coaches, teacher leaders, and other personnel who are charged with leading the school. Once we accept that improving student achievement relies on the instruction that ours in classrooms, then we must realize that school improvement is completely reliant on our ability as leaders to improve the practice of our teachers. If we are successful at enhancing teacher instructional practices, then we will be successful to improve student achievement. If we are unable to improve teacher practices, then we will be unsuccessful.
Teaching at each component is further defined by 4 levels of performance. These levels of teaching performance are described in rubrics, which provide educators with a roadmap for how they can improve their teaching.
In order to improve student achievement, we must have a deep and enduring knowledge of the components of grid instruction, and then we must develop the support, coaching, feedback, momentum, and direction needed for teachers to consistently improve their practices toward grid instruction. And the third step is quit doing stuff that doesn't help. Unfortunately, we are often distracted. Our calendar are brimming with activities. Many times, those activities are placed on us from the State Department of Education or the central office. But truth be told, we often create activities for ourselves and our personnel that not only don't improve teacher practices, but actually distract us from that mission. We often find comfort in completing administrative tasks rather than focusing on teaching and learning. We must challenge ourselves to toss out those activities that are having little to no impact on student learning. We must be diligent in abandoning those activities that clog our time. We must courageously stop doing what doesn't work. We must focus our attention almost to a fault on enabling our teachers to provide great instruction in every classroom. Okay everyone, those are the 3 simple steps how to increase student achievement. The first is build a common understanding of grid instruction. And the second is change teacher practices. And the third is quit doing stuff that doesn't help. For all of you, this may be the last to see each other. But before we part ways, I need to remind you again and again. What we want is what we need. Is that true? Many people believe that phrase, but it is actually a common mistake. What we want is not always what we need. But that doesn't mean that we should only learn what does the customer need. However, focusing on wants would only last for a short-term success, while focusing on needs will bring a longer-term success. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for showing up. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.